Hi, my name's Emma Vitello, and this is my first vlog for Women's Studies 202. It's my first vlog ever, and so this might be a little bit of a rough video, but I've been feeling under the weather for the past couple days and today, so I might look a little sad, but trust me, I'm fine. My first artifact is my VHS copy of Walt Disney's Fantasia. It is one of my favorite movies of all time, if not my first favorite. Like, it's one that I can watch over and over again, and I don't do that even with movies that I think are good. And it's, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's a 2-hour long film with animated sequences set to the tone of different pieces of classical music. Like this one playing in the background, which is Waltz of the Flowers from Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker Suite, which everyone's heard, but it's one of my favorites. So this movie means a lot to me because I've been watching it for almost 17 years, so since before I was even in preschool. I feel like it's shaped me into who I am. Like, growing up, it was, when you're like in 2nd or 3rd grade, it's not very common for other people to like classical music, or at least that was my experience, and so nobody really else liked classical music as much as I did, and while that did make me a little sad because that's not something I didn't have anything in common in terms of music taste with other kids my age, but I feel like that taught me to be more of an individualist, and that's a big part of who I am, I guess. Anyway, on to the next one. My next artifact is my acceptance letter to the Honors College here at Michigan State. This letter came to me during a pretty bad time in high school. Cliff's Notes, brief synopsis, whatever you want to use. During senior year of high school, I had a fallout with my friends, and I was taking a class that really challenged me intellectually, and I didn't know how to cope with it, really, because during the first quarter of a block scheduling year, I took pre-calculus, and it was first hour of the day. I was barely awake, and because I was during swim season, and I was just always exhausted, and I got a B in it. And when I first found out that I got a B in it, I cried for days. Like, I thought it was the end of the world. I was the stereotypical nerd in middle school and early high school. Like, I felt like I had to compensate for my lack of prettiness or athleticism by being the smart kid. And when I can't be the smart kid, it's like, what now? So I got a B the first quarter of pre-calc, and then I think it was like a B or B minus the second quarter, which, sounds okay to me now. It's like, okay, not an A, but 3 years ago, like, I worried myself sick and cried about it all the time because I felt like I had to get perfect grades in order to prove that I was smart. But then it was about a month after I got my acceptance letter to Michigan State University that I got my letter to the Honors College here, and it taught me that I don't need to have perfect grades all of the time in order to show that I'm smart. And, sometimes I just like to look at that up. I have it up on my wall. I like to look at it when I'm studying for an exam, to motivate myself and remind me, Emma, you got this. Don't worry about it. My next artifact is my handmade lumpy space princess mug, which is a little chipped up because it was accidentally put through the wash, but my friends made it for me, so I like to keep it. Now, I'm like a casual fan of Adventure Time. I enjoy the character of Lumpy Space Princess, which is why my friends made it for me. But, yeah, this mug means a lot to me because it's a symbol of my friendship with Jessica, Sierra, the two girls who made it, and the rest of the friends in my group, because they came into my life during another rough time, and as corny and cliche as it sounds, they gave me, they made me like people again. And as you can imagine by now, I'm a shy and reserved person and come off to a lot of people as antisocial, but that's because I'm honestly a little scared of people, but they help me a lot with that. My next artifact is my sugilite necklace. It's a mineral that was discovered by Kenichi Sugi in the early 1940s, I think. But ever since I was little, I've liked to collect rocks. I actually have them all in here, but I don't have time to show you. And I don't really believe in the metaphysical properties of so-called healing crystals. I don't think it's gonna alleviate blood pressure or something, but the mythology behind sugilite is that it's supposed to help regulate emotions and help you be less emotionally volatile. And as you can imagine by now, I like to put a lot of symbolism behind different objects. But yeah, this might be a little too much information, but I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder at the end of last year, and I'm going to therapy for it, but every now and again I like to, it makes me feel better to look at this when I'm struggling emotionally and I'm just like, Emma, calm down, have some chill, just chill out, okay? Yeah, I thought natural lighting would be the best lighting, but it's getting pretty late and dark out, so I gotta wrap this up. But this will be the shortest thing to talk about. So my last artifact is one of my favorite shirts. I'll go ahead and show it to you. It reads, "This shrew will not be tamed." This is an elephant shrew, which is one of my favorite animals, and I feel like this shirt really just best represents me in a visual way because I'm a zoology major. Animals are my life, and I'm also a feminist. I'm just now taking classes for it, but yeah, I think it's a pretty rad shirt. So that concludes today's video. You now know a little bit more about me, and I'll see some of you at the Google Hangout tomorrow. Bye!